Bourbon and a Baby.
Hello, welcome to Bourbon and a Baby. My name is Jay. Max is not going to be joining us tonight because Max would be too crazy running around this place and causing too much of a ruckus. And he's still, believe it or not yet 21 years old and old enough to be drinking Weller with his dad. And today I'm going to be reviewing Weller Single Barrel. Weller Single Barrel. Everybody knows, if you're into bourbon, Weller is a hot name in bourbon, made by Buffalo Trace, which is a hot distillery in bourbon. Almost everything they make is hard to get, and the Weller line is amongst some of the harder stuff to get. So for the single barrels here, this is actually the first time I've personally seen a bottle. They come in at 97 proof, and they are what they are. They're single barrels. Unless you get the same bottle from the same barrel, from bottle to bottle, they should taste kind of different. That's just the nature of bourbon, right? You can, if you've ever had a chance to try the same product from two different barrels and just see how vastly different they are, it really kind of opens your eyes to, what I think is kind of the beautiful thing about bourbon. So just keep that in mind as I go through this. If you have a bottle of this, of single barrel, it might be getting a lot of different notes than what I'm getting from this particular bottle. Now, one thing that I normally like about single barrels is a lot of times they'll give you kind of just information about the barrel or what rickhouse it came from, what barrel number, whatever. This gives you none of that. So I kind of think that's kind of lame. Not that you can really do a ton with that information, but sometimes it's just nice to know, and sometimes you actually come across people that have a single barrel from the same either lot or the same even barrel. A few years ago I did a review of Henry McKenna 10 year, which is a single barrel, and I went and I looked, and the Scotch Test Dummies did a review, and they had the same exact barrel. And they're in Kansas and I'm in Ohio, so that was kind of cool, right? We were reviewing a bottle from the same exact barrel. On Instagram I've seen people post a Russell's Reserve pick that I didn't have the same exact barrel as them, but it was from the same day and from the same rickhouse, so you know that it was probably a similar barrel, right? So it's always kind of cool to have that information. So I do think it's kind of lame on Buffalo Trace's part not to put that info on the bottle here, but it is what it is, right? Okay, so before I get into this fully, I want to thank the Renaissance of Tiffin. That's where I'm doing this review from. It's a 1920s bourbon bar in the heart of downtown Tiffin. It's a Roaring 20s theme. It's a beautiful place with a great bourbon selection. So if you're ever in Tiffin, Ohio, please come by and check this place out. Okay, what are we getting on the nose here? It's light, it's sweet. It kind of reminds me of a typical wheated bourbon. Not getting a lot of spiciness to this, which is kind of expected when you do have a wheated bourbon, absent the rye. Getting a lot of like the sugary candy notes here. And this is 97 proof, so doesn't get a ton of ethanol. Yeah, it's just like soft, light sugar, kind of like a candy coating type of aroma to it. Just a hint of a little bit of like fruitiness in there too, just like a hint of like ripe fruit. Maybe just a drop of cinnamon, just very slightly, which Weller Antique 107, I normally get a ton of cinnamon from. This, like, just barely, just a sprinkle. All right, let's check the palate. Cheers. Now that's interesting because on the palate, I get a lot more oak. Really hits the sides of my tongue. I get some of the, yeah, it's just some of those oak tannins. A little bit of brown sugar, but also not like much, not overpowering, just like a hint of it. Really, what really comes through the most is that oak, and these are not age stated at all. So I know, like Weller Antique typically, you know, is between 6 and 8 years. I'm guessing this is in that same age range, and that definitely comes through on the palate. You can definitely taste the oak. On the second sip, do get more of the cinnamon. Still not like I get with Weller Antique 107, but it is there. Real smooth, real easy to drink, 97 proof. There's like, this would be perfect to just sit like on a nice summer day, to just like sit on your porch and just drink this, because it goes down so easy. It's like one of those things that you can just kind of sip on all day. No cube needed. I mean, if you want one, sure, but definitely not necessary. And yeah, just real light. Not a ton of different like flavors going on, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Sometimes you just like to have that kind of nice sipping experience. This is definitely something that I could just, like I said, just sit on the front porch and just knock these back all day long. Probably kind of dangerous on that front. Yeah, still the most prominent flavor coming through is that oak, and it's hard. It's really, that could sound bad to some people, that it, and I don't want to give the impression that it's over oaked, but it's really hard for me to get past that as far as trying to break down the different flavors here. As it finishes, there is kind of this light caramel that goes on. Not like overpowering, but there is just kind of like this light undertone of caramel and cinnamon. So yeah, this is just pleasant, enjoyable. If you're looking for something like really bold and robust, and it's gonna like really give you a bunch of different flavors, this isn't it. But again, this is crushable. This is something that you can just sit back and just put back all day long. This is a dangerous one, and at 97 proof, it's kind of like that perfect spot to where it's like not too high, not too low, kind of like that perfect middle ground. So yeah, this is a good one. Retail on this is $49.99. If you can find it at retail, definitely worth that buy in my book. Would I pay much more over that? Maybe a little. Maybe 70, 80 bucks I would go up to, but I don't think I would pay like $100 or certainly nothing over $100 for this. But definitely value buy at $49.99 if you're able to come across it. So again, thanks a lot to the Renaissance of Tiffin for allowing me to film this review here and to sample this Weller Single Barrel. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. Have you tried the Weller Single Barrel line? Have you tried what I'd like to know is if you've had like different bottles of this, and you know how much it varies from bottle to bottle, if you've been able to get a couple of different bottles. So hit me up in the comments below if that's the case for you. Also hit me up in the comments and let me know what you've seen this for, you know, or if you've bought a bottle, what you bought it for. Were you able to get it at retail? How much did you pay over for it? And did you think that it was worth it at that price? So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can follow Max and myself on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're at Bourbon and a Baby on all those platforms. And last but not least, hit up the description below for a link to our shop on Spreadshirt where you can buy yourself some Bourbon and a Baby merchandise. Cheers. Yeah, all day. All day. This is all day.